Hey, it's Dominique from Blogging My Undies, and today I wanted to talk to you about the things that the V-Man doesn't like. He is now 6 years old, and of course a lot of things, come and go, but these are the things that he really doesn't like, and it's stuck around for whatever the reason. Number one, doctors and nurses. Not that they're not wonderful, because they totally are, and they're really nice, and it doesn't matter how many stickers I give, he just doesn't like them. And I kind of can't blame him because from thinking outside of the box, which is what I try to do, especially with an autistic child that's nonverbal, he's been associating doctors and nurses with pain all of his life. And it's not, torture, beating on him pain. It's, blood work, it's vaccines, it's putting, objects in his ears to see if his hearing's okay, to check for ear infections when he clearly has ear infections, so it's a constant pattern for him that doctors and nurses equal pain. Either he's already in pain or he's going to be in pain because that person, who happens to be a doctor or a nurse, gives him this kind of pain or unpleasant feelings. Number two, vaccines, blood work, and needles. This one's a tricky one. I mean, he is vaccinated, and it is, quite tricky to hold him down and get the vaccine done in the thigh, which is typical for children here. But when he was younger, when he was about 2, they wanted to do some research and do some blood work, and they wanted to see if there's any correlation between his blood, if there was anything funky going on that would be the lead to why he's autistic. His blood turned out normal, by the way, but it was a pretty horrific experience. I mean, it was something straight out of a scary movie. He was sitting in my lap. I had just given birth to the A-man fairly recently at the time, and I asked the nurse, who was kind of young, so she spoke English, and I said, is there any possibility we could get someone else in here to help me hold him? Like, I just had a baby, I'm not that strong. And she was like, no, you'll be fine, he's only 2. Well, she ended up getting the needle in, or trying to. She just got the pressure band on his arm, and he freaked and thrashed so much. She immediately paged, and 3 nurses came in the end to help us, and there was blood everywhere, and the needle was wiggling because she was nervous, and he was moving and screaming. He was trying to bite everybody, so I can't blame him. I mean, he was so upset. I was upset, plus hormones to boot, and that was the worst blood test experience we've ever had with him. And I genuinely can't blame him for associating, doctors and nurses with pain and fear because of that one horrific experience. Next would be hospitals and health clinics, dentistry even, they're all related to number 1 and number 2. He's associating them with people with pain. He does not like getting his nails clipped. So usually me and the hubster have to hold him down, and I just go in there and clip with regular metal nail clippers. For his toes, I have a new technique. For a while it used to be he had to be pinned down, but because he stands up for diaper changes, because he has those like pull-up style diapers, as soon as he could stand, he refused to lie down for diaper changes, so we just kept with those pull-up pants kind. So as soon as he's done having a shower and having a diaper on so he doesn't, pee on my back, he's standing on the toilet, and I sit down as if I'm, using the toilet, facing outward, and I grab his leg and hook it around me, and then I clip as fast as I can and then switch to the other foot. It involves him screaming and yelling at me and everything, but as soon as I'm done, he's happy and he leaves. So that's a good thing. Something we did today, besides the nail clipping, was cut his hair. He absolutely hates getting his hair cut, and he's never had it cut by a professional. I've done it the first time with scissors, and that was okay because he was really enthusiastic and really into Sesame Street on YouTube, and we were actually in Canada visiting my mother-in-law, and he was getting a mullet, so it was time to trim it up. So I looked it up, very carefully on YouTube what to do, and got some special hair cutting scissors and went to town with it, and it turned out fine. It was just a trim. I may as well put a bowl on his head and just trimmed around the edge of it, because that's all it was. It was very, very basic. Since then, I have not been able to do that with scissors. So a friend suggested, once he had the diagnosis, a friend suggested just using clippers. Just buy, hair clip, beard trimming set, whatever, and give him a buzz cut. So that's what he's had since he was 2. So again, he hates it. He hates, the feeling of loose hairs on him, and I've tried pinning a towel around his neck. I've tried keeping his shirt on, but then the hair really gets stuck into the shirt. So now I just cut his hair while he's topless. He screams and fights it, and then I throw him in the shower and then rinse off all the hairs, and he's fine. Waiting. He hates waiting for anything. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how good of a prize it is at the end. He absolutely hates waiting. He hates waiting for the bus. He hates waiting for us to look at things. So I try to not take him shopping unless I know exactly what I'm getting. Preferably I have a list and we just go, especially in the grocery store. But when it comes to clothing shopping or secondhand shopping, I just don't take him anymore because he doesn't like it. He hates waiting about. He'd rather just go, go, go. And I can't blame him. What else does he not like? I think those are the biggest things, and screaming. He absolutely hates when the M girl or the A man are screaming or crying or having a tantrum. He just can't handle it, and he totally has a meltdown and starts slapping his face, pinching his face or his chest. Pinching his eyelids is fairly new. I mentioned it, I think, in a couple videos ago. He's like pulling his eyelids out, pinching and twisting. Like, I can't even pretend that, it hurts for me just watching myself do it. But anyway, I guess the best way that we're helping him cope with these things that he doesn't like that are mandatory in life, like, cutting his hair, because if you wait till it gets too long, it gets more difficult to cut and takes more time. We just plow through it and then, cheer him on if he's, holding still, and at the end when we're done, give him a big hug and a kiss and a high five, and, it's wonderful, you did great. And with blood work and stuff, again, there's not a lot, of prep I can give him. I can show him pictures and he'll just push them away, or eat them, or spin them around, or sniff them. He doesn't care for picture communication with us. And for something like that, you have to do it. You have to have appointments. You have to have vaccines and checkups and all this and that, So we try our hardest to give him some warning, especially with basic things like haircuts and nail clipping. But when it comes to doctor's appointments and blood work and vaccines and all that, we just kind of wing it and hope for the best. And after every appointment and every vaccine, we make sure, it's usually me that takes him for these things, so I make sure that he gets a big reward at the end, which typically is, lunch out with me. Just me and him, mommy and V-man time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And those are the biggest things that I can think of that he really doesn't like. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.